Hello, this is Melam.
And this is Oki, and welcome to the English version of True Crime in Texas.
This is episode number 26E.
Right.
Okay.
The English version of the episode 26 for Bobbi Joe Stinnett. We want to say that we are sorry that this episode is coming out a little late. We had a little bit of technical difficulties with our stuff here in Houston, and that's why we came out with this episode a little late. So we are sorry about that, but thank you for coming to listen to us and giving us a chance for the English version. So should we start?
Yes.
For Bobbi Joe?
Yes.
Okay, Bobbi Joe Stinnett's case is very, very popular. A lot of people have done shows about her and what happened to her. Even though this isn't the first crime that this happened, but it's a very important crime because this is very senseless.
And really sad.
Very, very sad, right? So if you listen to the Thai version already, you know what happened, but I'm glad that you're here to listen to the English version as well. So our story takes place in Skidmore, Missouri. It's a very, very small town, very, very close-knit community. A lot of people know each other very well.
It's around 250 people.
Yeah, that's very, very small, 250 people. So Bobbi Joe went to high school in Skidmore, and right after high school, she got married right away to Zeb Stinnett. Her husband Zeb and Bobbi Joe, they both own a dog breeding business. They dog breed rat terriers. And she also works part-time job at the local Kawasaki factory. So a lot of people know this family really well, especially that they breed rat terriers.
Small dog.
Small dog, right? Because of this business that they have, Bobbi Joe is involved in a lot of dog shows. And on top of that, she's involved in a lot of like Facebook groups or chat rooms, just trying to maintain her business. And in a lot of these chat rooms, there's one particular one that's called Rat Terrier Chatter. Yeah, she met a lot of people, and one of the people that she met was Lisa Marie Montgomery. So during the time that Bobbi Joe met Lisa, who was 36 years old, Bobbi Joe was 23 when they met. So the time that they met, they talked a lot about the dog breed, right? They talked a lot about Bobbi Joe's business because Lisa was interested in maybe buying a dog. What's even more interesting about their correspondence is that Bobbi Joe was pregnant and so was Lisa. Lisa told Bobbi Joe, hey, I'm also pregnant. And they were pregnant almost at the same time. So their correspondence continued, and at this point, around in 2004, Bobbi Joe was 8 months pregnant, and Lisa had told Bobbi Joe that she too was 8 months pregnant. Now, this incident happened on December 16th in 2004. The day that it happened, Bobbi Joe actually that morning was talking to her mom on the phone. Her mom's name is Becky Harper. So she told her mom that, yes, I will pick you up from work later on, but before that, I have somebody coming in to check out my dog. Somebody was coming that day interested in buying a rat terrier. And actually, when she was on the phone with her mom, the person had shown up, so she had to tell her mom, like, hey, I have to hang up the phone because I have to go take care of this business. So her mom says, okay. Mm-hmm. But by 3 o'clock that day, when her mom, Becky, was expecting Bobbi Joe to pick her up from work, Bobbi Joe never showed up. Her mom wasn't sure what happened. why Bobbi Jo wasn't there. She's usually on time. She usually comes and picks her up.
She didn't answer the phone.
She didn't answer the phone. So Becky didn't know what happened. So she decided to walk the 2 blocks. Because remember, it's a small town. So she decided to walk to Bobbi Jo's house to see what happened. So when she got to the house, she didn't see anything. She couldn't hear anything, right? So then she went into the house. She's calling out her daughter's name. Then she went toward the back where they kept the dogs. And there she found Bobbi Jo on the floor.
Mom screamed.
Right, she screamed. She screamed pretty loudly because on the floor was her daughter. And there was blood everywhere.
Everywhere.
She didn't know what had happened to her daughter. She was pretty frantic. It's pretty chaotic what she sees. She's described to the paramedics and the police later on. It looked like her stomach exploded. Remember that Bobbi Jo was 8 months pregnant and she was on the floor with all this blood. So she immediately called the police. She immediately called 911. She couldn't tell if her daughter...
It's what happened to her daughter.
Right. So then the police showed up, and obviously they see exactly what she had described. There's blood everywhere. Bobbi Jo was attacked. Her husband, Zeb, was at work at the time. The police also noticed that she had been strangled.
Yeah.
There was a rope that her killer had tied around her neck and strangled her. So not only did they notice that she had been strangled, they also noticed that her stomach had been cut. And one big main thing that they noticed was, where is her baby? They have no idea where the baby is. There's blood everywhere. Mm-hmm. There's the umbilical cord, but no baby. Bobbi Jo was pronounced dead at the scene. But where is this baby? They didn't know.
The baby alive or not?
Nobody
know.
Right. We don't know where the baby is. We don't know if the baby was hurt, is alive, anything like that. Immediately, the police knew they had to do 2 things. They had to figure out who did this to Bobbi Jo, and then they have to figure out where the baby is. So one main thing that we have in America is an Amber Alert. Amber Alert is a service that the police can issue a notification to cell phones, and it has all the information as much as they
on
can.
TV too. On
TV as well. On the radio, there's an Amber Alert. It typically will have information about the child, how old the child is, what they were wearing, where they were last seen, what city, maybe in what car they were taken in, things like that. But they had a difficult time how they were going to do the Amber Alert for Bobbi Jo's baby.
Because
there's no description, and they don't know if the baby's alive, where this baby is. So initially, the Amber Alert services, they said they can't do anything.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't much information. And they've never done this before. They've never done one for an unborn child. So then the police went further
to the
congressman. His name is Sam Graves. And he told Amber Alert, go ahead and issue the notification. Go ahead and send out the Amber Alert. This is a very time-sensitive issue. We have to figure out what happened to the baby. So while they're issuing the Amber Alert, now they're looking back over at the house to see who had come into Bobbi Jo's life that maybe they can find out what happened. Her mother, Becky, told the police that day she was expecting somebody to come and look at the dog. Bobbi Jo had told her mom that this is somebody I met online. This is somebody that I talked to through emails. So the police looked into Bobbi Jo's emails, and they noticed that there was correspondence with somebody named Darlene Fisher. And Darlene had an appointment with Bobbi Jo that day. to come look at the dogs. So they looked more into this Darlene Fisher. They didn't find anything from this Darlene Fisher. There's nothing that they could connect it to who this is. They couldn't figure out who Darlene is, where she was coming from. They looked more into where the email address was coming from, the IP address. So the IP address was traced to this one house about 3 hours away. When the police went to the house, the first thing they noticed was this car, because a neighbor had told the police that there was a specific car at Bobbi Joe's house. The police had that in their notes of that particular car, because remember, Skidmore is a small town, so if there's a car they don't recognize, the people notice. But that's the same car that the neighbors told the police about. That's the car that's in front of this house that was 3 hours away. So the police went up. There were two of them. They went up to the door. So opens the door is Kevin Montgomery. He opens the door to the police, and then the police notices a woman inside the house sitting on a couch with a baby. Now, she's cradling the baby. She's holding onto the baby. And we find out that the woman holding the baby is Lisa Marie Montgomery. Remember that Lisa was the woman who was friends with Bobbi Joe in the chat room.
Yes.
And they talked a lot about being pregnant at the same time. The police knew right away that this has something to do with Bobbi Joe's baby. This was most likely the baby that was cut out of her stomach. So they questioned Lisa about the baby. But to do that, they took her to the police station.
And send the baby to hospital immediately.
They sent the baby, right, the infant to the hospital, make sure the baby's okay. After some questioning with Lisa, after a while, finally, Lisa admitted that she was the one who took Bobbi Joe's baby. It took some time for the police to ask all the information, all the details, but she finally told them that she was Darlene Fisher, even though the police knew, but they needed a confession out of her. Lisa told them that on that day, pretending to be Darlene Fisher, she went to Bobbi Joe's house, and she was prepared. She had a kitchen knife, a sharp kitchen knife. She had a rope. She was prepared by watching videos of how to do home births. Mm-hmm. And she had attacked Bobbi Joe and killed her and took the baby. Before we keep going into what happens after the confession, I'm going to talk a little bit about Lisa and how she grew up. Now, Lisa Marie grew up in a very, very horrible childhood home.
She has alcoholic mom.
She grew up with an alcoholic mom. Her childhood was very unstable. There was not or barely any love in their home. By the time Lisa was 11 years old, she had a stepfather who started molesting her. And not only that, they also had other men in her life molested her as well. It wasn't just a stepfather. So she was very, very affected by this.
When she 18, she married.
She got married when she was 18. They had 4 children. Uh-huh. But throughout the whole time of her marriage, Lisa had a lot of mental issues. And even after her and her husband with the 4 children divorced, and she married again with this new guy, Kevin Montgomery, Lisa had told Kevin that she was pregnant, and then she would lose the baby. She would tell him she's pregnant again and lose the baby again. It was believed that she had a lot of pseudo pregnancies, pseudo meaning fake. And we don't know if it's just attention. We don't know if it's truly her
brain.
Like that she truly believed that she was pregnant. She did have 4 children, before this incident with Bobbi Joe. But we're not sure what her state of mind is. Maybe she believed that she was pregnant the same time with Bobbi Joe, or she knew that she is faking it and she had planned the whole time that she was going to take Bobbi Joe's baby. We don't know which way she was thinking.
But it's a long time for planning.
She planned for a long time. But during this also, her ex-husband had warned the new husband that she will try to manipulate, she will try to maybe plan something big or she's lying about
All
being
the time.
pregnant. Right, but Kevin didn't pay attention to any of that. And on that particular day, after she took the baby from Bobbi Joe, she actually was in a parking lot.
Call her husband
She
to
was
pick
in,
her up.
Yeah, she was in a parking lot at Long John Silver's, which is like a drive-through seafood fast food place. She called her husband, Kevin, hey, I just had the baby. Can you come pick me up? I had the baby at a clinic, at a woman's clinic, and I'm in the parking lot. Can you just come and get me? Come pick
And
me
the
up.
baby,
And the baby's here. He says, okay, I'll come pick you up. And they told their families that Lisa had her baby. They told, their friends and family. Kevin came to pick Lisa up and brought the baby home to them until the police showed up at their door. Lisa was found guilty of the murder of Bobbi Joe Stinnett, as well as kidnapping the baby, whose name is Victoria. The father of the baby, Zeb, has asked the public to leave them alone, to give them privacy, to let the baby grow up, to have a normal childhood, even though she doesn't have her mother with her. So on October 22nd, 2007, Lisa was found guilty and was rejected that the defense claimed that she was delusional, meaning that the defense tried to say that she was suffering from a lot of childhood trauma, that there was brain injury, that she had a lot of personality disorders, but all that was rejected. The jury recommended the death sentence. Lisa was supposed to be executed on December 8th, 2020, but during that time there was COVID, and her attorneys, her lawyers contracted COVID, so they had to move her execution date. They moved it to January 12th, 2021, so last year. So on that date of her execution, and a federal judge, his name is Patrick Hanlon, actually halted her execution because he felt that her mental competence had a lot to do with whether or not she should be executed. He wanted her to get tested again, that she wasn't mentally capable of understanding what was happening. But then the Supreme Court voted against it. They had a 6-3 vote that the execution has to be continued. So with that, Lisa was executed by lethal injection on January 13th, 2021, which was last year in Indiana. She was the first female federal prisoner executed in 67 years, the first woman executed in the U.S. since 2015. And that was the unfortunate story about Bobbi Joe Stinnett. But the baby is a teenager now, and she was healthy, she was fine. They were really surprised that when Lisa cut the baby out of Bobbi Joe, that the baby was fine. She was healthy.
She's strong.
She was a strong girl. She was fighting. She knew that her mom was hurt, and she continued to fight, But that's it for today. Thank you again for coming by to listen to our English version. We are sorry that it came out later than expected. We promise to try to stay on schedule, but we have a lot of work to do.
Okay. It's so sad about the story today.
Yeah, it's a very sad story, but we promise to keep making videos and both in Thai and English versions. So please subscribe. Please tell your friends, family members. We love to hear from you. We love all the comments. And my landlord eats all the Thai ones for me, which is wonderful.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.